I'm Alice Muriacha. My practice is a craft-led exploration of our entangled relationships with nature, ritual, and the future. Repairing the Riverbank is a large 3 by 6 by 2.2 meter knitted geotextile quilt commissioned by V&A Dundee to accompany their current exhibition, Garden Futures Designing with Nature, which runs until late January 26. Knitting a jumper is like writing a love letter to the future. Maureen Laverty talks about clothing as emotional storage, that garments hold intentions for care in reserve. I learned to knit from my grandmother, who passed in 2020, and there are still jumpers around that she knitted for me. This work is imagined as a large bandage to be placed on damaged soil to encourage its rehabilitation. Knitting and this caring quality it engenders became the focal technique in my explorations, knitting substrates for plants and seeds in my PhD practice-based research. Repairing the Riverbank is my love letter to the earth. The quilt is designed to help restore soil and biodiversity along Dundee's Dicty Burn, one of the watercourses that runs through Dundee, here in pink. A river where we find soil erosion, different layers of human inhabitation, competing interests and attempts at regeneration. In commissioning the quilt, the curatorial team asked me to bring an essence of Scottish knitting to the piece. This in mind, I started the process with a research residency in Scotland, travelling in a motorhome with my husband and 5-year-old, exploring Scotland's knitting traditions, inviting museum curators to share their favourite pieces with me and trying out techniques like sanka, intricate Shetland lace taking months to knit, the nimble colourwork of densely patterned Fair Isle, the famous knit of local fishermen, the Gansey. I explored contemporary designers in Scotland, undertook desk study, for example, this piece of the Great Tapestry of Scotland that references the Highland clearances. And I took long-form face-to-face interviews with practitioners across the knitting and sheepwool value chain from field to fashion. After this research, I could finally get to work designing the quilt. The 12 motifs in the quilt correspond to 12 plants native to the Scottish river's edge. The head curator of the Dundee Botanical Gardens, Kevin Frediani, shared that this ecological setting, the wet woodland of the Dicty Burn, is designated W7, characterised by the presence of alder, ash, and yellow pimpernel. I set about making field sketches of each plant, carefully translating what I could see to knitting patterns, encoding a visual reference into the quilt, with my punch card of PASAP E6000 as a guide and working in reference to Fair Isle patterns from my research. I made 12 plant responsive motifs in total, combined in a square pattern in a nod to Sanka. The quilt was knitted in wool from the Shetland Islands in natural and soil-safe undyed colours, working with Sean Henry Fitzsimmons to prototype and produce using Stoll in 3 panels, each representing a subset of the W7 ecological designation. Pops of plant-based colour were from yarns commissioned from Scottish dyers, embroidered by hand with help from my mum. Each square of the quilt was then embedded by hand with the seeds it references. When germinated, the quilt can have a role in stabilising the riverbank and restoring the soil horizon, as the knit provides structure and protection as the roots grow through it, ultimately the quilt biodegrading into the soil. The quilt is displayed in V&A Dundee until late January. By privileging a craft approach, I want to share that the work of ecological restoration can literally be in our hands. The quilt appears accompanied by a participatory installation where members of the public can learn to make plant-inspired patterns and contribute through knit and natter workshops to a co-created quilt that will be put on the Dicty Burn on the grounds of a school in 2026. A huge amount of input went into the making of Repairing the Riverbank. This slide is mainly to show the extent of that and to add my thanks now to the Dorothy Waxman Prize jury and public audience for this opportunity to share this piece and its development with you. Thank you.
Thank you.